happiness that the surrounding brings, freshness, sweetness, happiness that the surrounding brings. Take care of the nature before it takes care of you. Ooh, take care of the nature before.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Earth Check. My name is Anne Masharia, and in today's episode, our focus is on Nairobi Summer School on climate justice. Talk about knowledge, power, and planet. My name is Anne Masharia. I'm not an expert on this, so I had to talk to people who attended the event. Many thanks, Daktari, for making time for us today. Just a brief introduction of who you are.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. To start with, my name is Dr. Peter WANGAI, and I'm in the Department of Environmental Studies and Community Development at Kenyatta University. So this is, the department is where we are training students on environmental issues, community issues, and the problems that are affecting this world, our countries in Africa, and also the local people. And we want to use environmental approach to understand these complex problems, including climate change, resource management, leadership, and governance as well.
Right. So to many of people who are watching us today, why Nairobi Summer School?
Yes, Summer School, to start with, is a breakthrough. I can say that this Summer School is a breakthrough. Because all along we've been talking about summer schools which are organized by universities alone. But this summer school is organized in conjunction between civil society, and here we are referring to PACJA and Kenyatta University and so many other partners. So this is a very special summer school to start with, and I think moving forward this is the way to go, to incorporate different stakeholders in enriching the knowledge and understanding of climate justice to the new generation.
All right. So when we mean the new generation, are we incorporating climate defenders?
Yes, we are incorporating climate defenders because climate defenders are the ones that carry the voice of the weak in the society. They go out there and talk with a loud voice to the leaders, to the policymakers, and to the decision makers on matters that really touch the livelihoods of people.
Okay, all right. So, Dr. Well, before we touch on IPCC report, I want us to talk about the importance of incorporating climate finance, especially in developing countries, because I know countries that are fully developed are termed as the main polluters. So, what is your take on climate finance, especially on developing countries?
Yes, Anne, climate finance, we have to talk about it because it touches all of us. Yeah. The reason why we have to talk about climate finance is because pollution of the environment, and especially emission of greenhouse gases, they mainly come from developed countries. And we try to look for a framework whereby we can collect resources and help the developing countries that are very much affected by the impacts of climate change, so that these resources can be used to undertake mitigation and adaptation projects in the developing countries. And therefore, climate financing, it's looking into how corporations, governments, and even foundations, how they can pool resources together to ensure that people who are very much vulnerable, and especially people living in Africa, they are given resources to undertake mitigation and adaptation projects.
All right. So COP26 is coming up. Yes. What should we expect, or what as an environmentalist do you expect?
Yes, there is always high expectation when we have these high-level meetings taking place, and especially the place for Africa. Africa, in most of the discussions, it has been left behind. But we are seeing with activism and also with a lot of mobilization of human resources, we are having increased participation in these conferences, international conferences. And therefore, when we focus on the COP26, which is coming, we really want to see participation of Africa increasing, and again trying to bring the issues that are affecting us in a big way. And this is the point we are saying that we don't want rhetorics anymore. We want actual implementation of the resolutions that are coming from these conferences. And this is what the local people, they are waiting for. This is what the local farmers in Africa are waiting for. Because all people in Africa, and especially those who are surviving on small-scale farming, those who are surviving on small-scale businesses, they want to benefit from these conferences. Let us move from the boardroom. Whatever will come from those boardrooms, we want to see it being implemented on the ground.
Yeah, okay. Just before we talk about IPCC, how important is it that we get to see people fighting for climate justice, especially for young people?
Yes, and what you need to realize is that when we talk about the IPCC, we are talking about a scientific document that gives the facts about how climate change is taking place and how climate variability is also taking place. Because climate change is a result of climate variability, whereby over time, this data is analyzed, and we can see over 35 years, that's when we talk about climate change. And what has been happening in more than 50 years, already we have places that are being now affected by climate change after we average all the data over more than 35 years. So when we look at the issue of IPCC, we are looking at a situation whereby those facts, they are going to guide policy making, and they are going to guide decision making at the international level, at the regional level, and also at the national level.
Okay, all right. Daktari, to many people who tend to feel like climate change is not real, there's so many people who are out here who are climate deniers. What would you say to them?
Yes, and in a society, you cannot be in one basket, all of you. And the most interesting thing about human beings is because they have different opinions, they have different interests, they have different perspectives. And we have to acknowledge this. But what is very important is to raise the voice that climate change is real. Not because of what is on the data, not because on what is on the publications, on books, but what is happening on a day-to-day life. Recently, we've had events which are horrible, floods, droughts, prolonged dry spells in different countries in Africa. We are also seeing other environmental-related disasters. Why are these disasters happening? People have to question that. And when we start asking those hard questions on the facts of the occurrences that we are experiencing on a day-to-day life, on a yearly basis, then we can, with affirmation, say that climate change is real. It is not rhetoric, it is actual, but we have to really help people, those climate deniers, those who don't believe in climate change. Then we really need to give them the facts and to ask them to explain what are these phenomena all about, why are they happening. And if they have an explanation, we listen to them, we compare data, and then we can make a decision on whether climate change is real or it's just a rhetoric. But from my own perspective and from the scientific perspective, I can tell you climate change is real.
All right. Professor, Daktari, we wrap up with this question. What do you intend to achieve with Nairobi Summer School?
Thank you, Anne, for that wonderful question. We intend to have a generation that is grounded on facts, knowledge, and combine this with real-life experiences. The reason why I'm saying this is because in academia, especially from the university, at the university level, we are here to generate knowledge. And this knowledge is what we are imparting on the participants for this summer school. This knowledge is actually backing the experiences they have. The civil society here represented by PACJA has exposed these participants to the real challenges facing our communities, facing our people. And therefore we see an intersection whereby the experiences meet the new knowledge, the updated knowledge of what is happening in the world, what is happening in our countries. So through this summer school, we want to have a generation that has a holistic picture, combining knowledge and experiences, and therefore having even a stronger bargaining power when representing the civil society organizations the participants are representing, as well as community-based organizations that the participants are representing in this summer school.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. for your time. We do really appreciate. Thank you. I know our viewers have learned a few things, and you know, when it comes to climate change, I hope many out here, the people who are climate deniers can change their mind. So asante sana for making time for this interview. Thank
you, Anne, for giving me the opportunity to mention a few things on this subject. Thank you.
It's an event that really hosted all people from all walks of life. 57 countries represented here. This and much more after the break.
Surrounding green, freshness, sweetness, happiness, the surrounding